Behind every woman who is labeled "you talk too much" is a little girl who never felt like her voice meant anything. Is a little girl who was silenced. Even as an adult, she still was a little girl on the inside, because every time she tried to speak her truth, she was silenced. Whether it be by being hit with objects, or being hit with hands, or being cussed out, or being told that she was stupid, or being told that she would never amount to anything, she was silenced. So when she finally breaks free from trauma, breaks free from abuse, breaks free from narcissistic abuse, breaks free from being told that she was everything opposite of what God says that she is, and then you come and try to tell her that she talks too much, do you not know that that is liberating? It feels good to know that people are tired of hearing my voice. Because there was a point in time where I didn't even want to hear my own voice. There was a point in time where, unless I was pouring into other people, I wouldn't say anything. Now, I'm going to speak on any and everything that I've been through, and that pours into people, but it also pours into me as well. Because every time that I look at a picture of when my jaw was swollen 3 or 4 times its normal size, it reminds me of why I now have lopsided face. Because the surgery that had to be done, taking place so that my jaw would not break further and go into my brain, caused them to not put my jaw back properly. And so now one of my jaws is up higher than the other, and one of my jaws is flat while the other one is round. It reminds me that I got my ribs broken and had a miscarriage simultaneously 2 months after having a C-section. It reminds me that every time that I had guns pulled on me, and even sometimes the trigger was pulled playing Russian roulette, I didn't die. I didn't die. God saved me. So if me speaking about the things that God saved me from makes anybody feel annoyed or conviction, that's not my problem. I speak because God tells me to speak. I say these things because there are women who are continually going through things that I walked away from 3 years ago. There are women who still wake up every single day with the most beautiful face and think that they're ugly because they're being told that they're ugly by a man who's only telling them that because they're scared that they'll leave them. There are women who are being physically assaulted. There are women who are being sexually assaulted by men that they are in relationships with. But they're scared to speak up, but I'm not scared to say it. I got raped by both of my exes. I've only been in 2 serious relationships in my life. I was with one for almost 7 years and we got married. I was with one for almost 4 years and we had 3 kids. So I had 4 kids total within that time. And I have my nephew, so I'm a mother of 5. And everything that I went through was not for me. It was for other people. My choices are the reason why I went through it, but God is going to turn it all around for my good and for the good of others who watch me. So, next time you try and silence a survivor, just remember that somebody in your family might just be going through it and they might not be so lucky to survive. Or think back to the things that you went through that you never talk about. Just because you're not comfortable talking about it doesn't mean that I should be silent. Just because you're not comfortable being a disciple doesn't mean that I should hide my light under a bushel. I know whose I am and I know who I am. And I'm not going to stop speaking up because it makes other people feel uncomfortable. Just imagine how uncomfortable it was for me to be the one going through it. To be the one knowing that if I make one false move, me and my children could be gone forever. Just imagine what it felt like being that person in that situation. Not very many people know how to vocalize what they went through. But God gave me the gift of discernment, but also the gift of gab. So I'm able to express the quiet part that people don't say. I wrote a whole book about it. Faith, Family, Freedom, The Rosie Experience. It's on the Barnes & Noble website. The quiet part that nobody speaks of. The victim's perspective. And no, I'm not a victim, but there was a point in time where I had a victim mindset and I was victimized. But I'm victorious. I came out of everything that I was in. And with me knowing that there are women who die in it, that 1 out of every 3 women are in a domestic violence situation or have survived one, oh yes, baby, I'm going to talk about it. Because a lot of women die in it, or a lot of women are in Stockholm Syndrome for the rest of their life, meaning that they protect their abusers for the rest of their life. That could have been me. I protected my abuser in both of those relationships. I didn't tell nobody what was going on, and when people had inklings, I would cuss them out. How dare you think that about him? Even though he's beating the crap out of me at home, how dare you assume that this broken jaw came from him? Stockholm Syndrome. That's a way of life for so many people. That's why when I think about like Ali Carter and all these stories that are coming out about Hollywood, I believe it. You want to know why? Because I have my very own version of P. Diddy at home. No, I definitely wasn't to that extent. He ain't had no money. He ain't have no influence. But if a man with no money and no influence can put that many women in Stockholm Syndrome, because both of my exes have multiple women. So if they can put that many women in Stockholm Syndrome, what more can a millionaire or a billionaire do? They can bring other people in on it, right? Because they have the money to pay them off. They can bring lawyers and doctors and police officers and FBI agents into it, right? Because they have the money to pay them off. So I believe those things. And long before TikTok, I already believed it. There are so many things that women go through silently. There are so many things that children go through silently. There are so many things that men go through silently too. But a good percentage of the things that we're going through are happening at the hands of men. Because men control a lot more than women do. I'm just not scared to speak up about it. I'm gonna speak up until the day I die. And when I die, I'm leaving behind my book. I'm leaving behind the movie that I'm gonna be working on. I'm leaving behind whatever speeches I do that get recorded and put on social media. I'm leaving all of that behind, so even when I'm dead, my voice will still be on this earth, and you can never deny the fact that I was here. I was here.